the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the team we already talked about, their quarterback, traveling to Syracuse to play a team that actually looked better with Tommy DeVito on the sideline, to be honest with you. Right now, oddshark.com as of Monday. Again, if you're listening to this on Tuesday or later, this is Monday spread, but Georgia Tech -8.5. So they are the favorite there. About a 57% consensus right now, leaning more towards Georgia Tech. I mean, I know they couldn't really keep up with UCF late game, but I think that they can beat Syracuse. I don't know why it's just 8.5 points. I have to believe that Georgia Tech can do better. I do think that Pitt, came out real strong, and then kind of Cuse was able to do a little bit of something against Pitt, a little bit. If you could say 10 points is a little bit. But I don't think that Syracuse is going to win, which is what the computer says is the predicted score. I don't think Syracuse is going to win. Originally, I might have said that, but I'm going to say that Georgia Tech wins the game, and I'm going to actually take them to win by more than 8.5.
Well, this is one that scares me a little bit, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go first, so Houston can piggyback this week. Okay, look, I'm taking Syracuse here. Okay, I'm not really sure why. I seem to rely on Syracuse a lot to cover the spread. Hey, it worked out last week at least. It worked out last week with Pittsburgh, but I don't know why. I'm taking Syracuse. I think they'll find just enough offense. I haven't been overly impressed with Georgia Tech's offense. I mean, they've scored some points here and there. They got a long kickoff return against UCF, score one of their touchdowns that way. I don't know. And of course, they got a lot of possessions too, because UCF was scoring like crazy too. A lot of turnovers were involved there as well. I'm taking Syracuse to cover here, and I'm not entirely sure why. I haven't been impressed with Syracuse by any means, but they kept the Pitt game close after Pitt looked so good. Their offense in week one, and they're going to be at home. Syracuse is going to be at home as well. I understand the home environments aren't what they usually are, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and take Syracuse to cover the 8.5.
Syracuse has killed me the last 2 weeks. I pick them the first week, they don't do it. Second week, I don't pick them, and they don't do it. So, of course, I'm in a dangerous and precarious position once again with Syracuse. I tend to agree with Alan, although I'll say this. I'll take Syracuse with the points, but I'll take Georgia Tech to win the game. It's going to be a similar game to the Florida State game, ugly, low scoring. Offenses both look terrible, and Georgia Tech pulls one out at the end, but not by over 8.5.
And I can see that. I mean, this is a dicey one. It's hard to say. But I picked Hughes to not win any games, so I'm going to stick with that. And I do like Jeff Sims. I want to see what he can do. I don't think that Hughes has a good defense. And like I said, if they're going to put Tommy DeVito back in, they might as well lose the game anyways. I think their backup does better than he does. But and also I want to say this, Al, going back to what I originally said to Marty's comment. White gets in and says, I did freak him out, and Alan, I guess so. So you're in the right there. So I apologize to Clemson Nation, even though you guys knew what I meant. The fact that they're Clemson recruits or commits means they're a 5-star. But anyway, you knew what I mean. But the next one up, and let me pull it up here, is Louisville, number 24. Louisville after a loss there, tough one. They are now 1-1. So Louisville, wait, are they 1-1? Yeah, they're 1-1. So Louisville's 1-1 at Pittsburgh, number 21 Pittsburgh. So now Pittsburgh ranked higher than Louisville. Not something I thought I would see, really, to be honest with you. I know it's early. And also computer predicts Pittsburgh to win at home. I don't know if I feel that. There. My thing is this. Take away those 3 turnovers. I think the game's a whole lot closer. It was only a 13-point game, guys. And, like I said, I think that they have the firepower to keep up with anybody. So in a close conference matchup, I'm going to go with give me the plus points on this one. I know I didn't go with the plus points before. My logic's all over the place. But plus 2.5, minus 2.5 for Pitt. I'm going to take plus 2.5 for Louisville because I just think they have the firepower to kind of hang at least. I don't see them losing to Pitt. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, look, all these games are dicey if you're picking against the spread. Okay, I mean that's why the spread is there. All right, so that's what Vegas wants you to think. It's supposed to be a point either way, just about. So yeah, I'm actually going with Morgan on this one. I like Pittsburgh. I like what I saw from them. Kenny Pickett's having a good year. And he's a decent quarterback. They really are.
Game manager.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what he has been for the most part, except for when he plays Austin P. And again, only an idiot would have picked Austin P with the spread there. But yeah, I like what I see from Pittsburgh for the most part, and I think Louisville's going to get. Look, after that Miami game, they got to get something. Kind of bring it back to normalcy, okay? Because their defense was atrocious in that game. And Kenny Pickett's not De'Aaron King. Okay, he's not going to make those kind of moves outside the pocket. That's not a thing he's going to be able to do, or you wouldn't think so anyways. So I think Louisville's going to be able to play a little bit more disciplined game if they don't have to focus on trying to keep De'Aaron King, from running. And I think they're going to be able to focus a little bit more and get the win. So I'm going to take Louisville plus the points as well.
This makes me nervous now. I was thinking Louisville the whole time, and now both of you picked it, and that's a killer for me.
Is it going to be the lock of the week?
I'll pick Louisville plus the points. I think they have a little bit more talent on the offensive side of the Pitt. I think they've got a little bit more firepower. I think in the end, Louisville responds in this game. Pitt is not Miami. Pitt does not have the same weapons that Miami has. But I am a little bit worried now, given that Louisville's defense is not off to a good start. But I still think Louisville gets it done and covers.
This was my moment. This was my moment to pull out the soundboard. And I didn't have it ready. Now I do.
Oh, Morgan.
There it is. So the soundboard is there. I had it. I almost had it ready. I'm sorry. I really let you guys down on that one. What could have been? What could have been there? All right, so let's move over. I actually, as I was getting up the soundboard, I closed out every one of my screens, which is always a good thing to do when you're making sure you're relying on these screens to move your picks along. But the next one up. So we did have a lock for Louisville, and I want to let chat know. All three, we're going to put that out on Twitter as well. Well, all three picking Louisville to beat or to win with the plus 2.5. Mark Childers saying don't sleep on Louisville. So maybe we're wrong there. But the next one up,
don't sleep on Pitt.
Don't sleep on Pitt there. Yeah, so don't sleep on Pitt. But Notre Dame, number 7 Notre Dame at Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Okay, so I can't go against them again. I mean, I went against them against USF and got destroyed. They're minus 16.5 on this one. Wake, they do have Donovan Green. They do have Kenneth Walker, who looked a lot better that week, and they hung with NC State. And by the way, I picked NC State. You guys didn't pick NC State, but I picked NC State, and they came through. And I told you guys they were going to be better than you think because they're not injured this year. But I can't go against Notre Dame again. I was a Notre Dame hater, I believe, week 1, week 2. Again, they're 2-0. They're 1-1 against the spread. I'm going to go this time with Notre Dame. Wake Forest, again, they might can hang with them early. I just don't know about late. And, NC State has a really good running back. And so the fact that Notre Dame has 3 good running backs, I think bodes well for them. I think they're going to put a lot of points up. So give me Notre Dame.
So I looked at this game pretty hard. Actually, when the line came out earlier today, it was 18.5. And I liked Wake Forest with 18.5 points. And it's not, look, I picked Wake Forest to beat NC State. Like you said, I thought the game experience that Wake Forest had was going to pay off. I liked their offense. And they scored a lot of points. They really did. I didn't expect NC State to score that many. And it was a good game. The only game I saw was the only drive I saw was the final drive when I saw the score was, I think it was 35-35 or whatever it was. So I didn't get to see a lot of the game. I don't exactly know what happened and how it got to where it was. But I'm actually going to take Wake Forest here. And it's not because I think Wake Forest is some great team or anything like that. But I think they have a decent offense. I think they're going to be able to score more on Notre Dame than Duke was able to score. And we all saw Notre Dame in the first week. We were not. I don't think we were overly impressed with how that one went. We liked what we saw from Chase Bryce, but I think Wake Forest is going to be able to score a little bit, and I just don't know. I don't know that Notre Dame's going to be able to score enough to cover that. I think Wake Forest backdoors them late.
I'll have my jar of Duke's mayonnaise ready for the Duke's Mayonnaise Classic, because this game was supposed to be in Charlotte. It's still marketed as the Duke's Mayonnaise Classic, so spoonful of mayonnaise, just scooping right along watching this game. If it was 18.5, like Alan said, I would have taken Wake Forest. I'm going to go with Notre Dame in this case. I think Wake Forest will score more, but I think that Notre Dame will end up pulling away. It'll be somewhere along the lines of like 44-24, 41-24, or maybe like 34-17, something like that. But I just think that Notre Dame can at least win by 17.
Okay, I got it down. Al, Houston and I, we're on the same page on that one, so we'll see where it comes from. Darth over on chat saying that NC State ran the ball down Wake's throat. Clemson pretty much did the same thing, I felt like. So if you got Notre Dame coming in, you got Notre Dame coming into town, they're going to do the same thing. I feel like Notre Dame has now figured it out. They kind of got their rhythm going. They're just going to keep on rolling, baby. So it pains me to say this because I got Notre Dame up there with Michigan in my mind, but I'm going to say Notre Dame in this case. But appreciate it, guys. So, Al, you got anything over on Facebook while I find the next game?
Let's see. We got, like you said, Mark Childress got in and said, "Don't sleep on Pitt." So he's loving the Panthers there. Hartbond gets in there and says in a shootout that it'll be Louisville win plus the points. So Hart's taking Louisville. He's with us on that one. He also says Notre Dame all day, and there's no argument for Wake Forest. And I tried to provide the best one I could. Okay. But I was pretty sure y'all were going to take Notre Dame, and I was like, you know what? Let's be a little different here. Let's throw something at Wake. And hey, if I win, it's just going to be a great day.
I mean, Alan, you didn't watch any of the games and won almost all of the ones you picked. So, I like your rhythm there for sure. But again, let me tell you this. So there's something I got to address here, guys. I got to address this. We got to get on the same page, guys. And I hate to call this out in front of the nation. Okay. But this show needs to be like Pat McAfee. Okay. You guys are like my cheer guys. You guys are like my rah guys. Okay. So even when I make a mistake, I'm right. All right. So you got to be like, yes, you're right. He is a 5-star.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Wake. Yes, it is. No,
you deserve to be hammered. You will be hammered.
I'm not getting anything on that. Well, since I'm not getting anything on that, I think it's a good time to do this.
Mute.
Are you trying to do a fart noise?
Hopefully,
the sound thing.
I'll have to get that noise. I feel like that's banned on live TV. It's kind of a little bit too much, too inappropriate for our audience. The crickets and the MLG air horn, I think we're good. You guys, it's a complete disaster to give me a soundboard. Just going ahead and throwing that out there. But all right. So next up is the Duke Blue Devils at Virginia Cavaliers. All right, so we know that Virginia hasn't played a game at all. And we know that Duke is 0-2, but they have the Fighting Chase Bryce out there who came out and kind of tried to, pump up his team on Twitter going into this week. Said, the results don't always reflect the talent on the team, which I agree with. So the question is, returning ACC Coastal champions, the Cavaliers now got a new quarterback, still again have a big-time wide receiver, still again have a pretty solid defense as well. They are coming in to this game as 5.5-point favorites. And Houston, for whatever reason, the audio got really loud for you. I don't know what's going on. But so they're 5.5-point favorites. Looks like the national consensus is 61% going to pick Duke plus 5.5. This one's a hard one for me. Considering you don't know anything about what Virginia Cavaliers and their new quarterback's going to do. But I mean, he's kind of like your Tim Tebow type. He can run the ball pretty well, but Duke also is good against the run. But they do have Terrell Jana, which is going to be a good wide receiver. I think he's going to be able to get out too. I'm going to say let's go with the unknown. Let's say that Virginia can beat Duke by more than 5.5, by basically a touchdown there or 2 field goals. So I'm going to say give me Virginia to cover the spread.
All right, I don't like this one bit. I picked Duke last week against Boston College, and of course that didn't go well. If you'll notice, when we did our picks on the website on southlandclub.com, I switched my pick to BC. Because I liked the points. The points were about 1.5 different by the time of the game hit, and I really decided I just liked Phil Jerkovic, and I thought he could make some plays, and I wasn't expecting as many plays as he made, but that was a good sign. So I actually switched that, but I don't get credit for that because on air I picked Duke.
On air is what matters.
That's right. It's on air is what matters, and I hate to do this again. I really do, because when I don't like to pull for Duke regardless. The only reason I'm pulling for them now is because Chase Bryce plays for him. Okay, but I'm going to take Duke here again. I'm going to take Duke to cover these points. Virginia, I thought Virginia was going to be a little worse than what most people thought they were going to be this year. And again, even though it didn't really work out for me last week, I think the fact that they haven't played a game could come into play here. So I'm going to take Chase Bryce, and I'm going to take Duke plus the 5.5.
Is my audio better? Sound all right?
Sounds good. You're good.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to agree with Alan. I'm going to take Chase Bryce. I'm going to take Chase Bryce to get his first touchdown pass. I think the way that Duke's playing is not indicative to how well he's actually done. He's threw for 217, threw a couple picks. Didn't get a lot of help from his other receivers and running back and all that kind of stuff like that. So I'd take Duke to win this game. Close one, but they cover. I'm picking Duke and Chase Bryce.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say because like I said, I know that Duke is good against the run, and I feel like UVA is going to be trying to do most of the run. If you look at the film that we did on their quarterback, he's mainly a running kind of guy. He likes to do that a lot. Tim Tebow type is what I kind of said, but we'll see. I got to go with the unknown. I'm going to stick with my pick. You guys aren't going to convince me of this. All right. So looks like the next one up, at least on the list, is later on in the night. So I'm not seeing. Well, actually, I skipped one. So not later on the night. It's still 6 o'clock. So evening time. This is one I actually hadn't put down. So this is one I'm gonna have to do off the cuff here. Texas State Bobcats at Boston College Eagles. Boston right now minus 17.5. The public consensus is 95% to Boston College. But I think Texas State, they're 2-1 against the spread. And I think they actually are, can score on people. At least one of the games I saw, they can put up points. They're not a bad, necessarily a bad offense. This one's going to be tough. But they're 1-2 overall, 2-1 against the spread. You know what? I'm just going to go with groupthink here. I'm going to go with Boston College since 95% of people say Boston College. I'm going to go with Boston College, considering they're at home. Texas State, that's a long travel there. Go ahead and give me Boston College to cover the spread.
I concur because I don't know enough about Texas State right now, so I'm going to go Boston College as well.
I want to be contrarian here, but I can't.
Do it.
I've watched Texas State play. I like what they do. Jake Spavital does good Texas State, but I don't think they have the horses to keep up. So I'll go with Boston College.
And I think I've got, here we go. So we got, let me see. Hopefully this doesn't, turn down your audio. Just going to let you guys know this. Turn down your audio. But I got the air horn up, I think. Let's see if we can get it going. Yes. That was another lock pick. All three of us picked Boston College to cover the spread there, but just be careful with that because it's only really because Houston conceded to the group, and we also, or at least I did, conceded to national consensus there. So be careful with that. We'll just say that. We'll put that out there. But again, let's go to the next game. I believe this is the one that's kind of been talked about in chat. This is one where was mentioned. This is a 7:30 game. Florida State travels to Miami. Number 12, Miami Hurricanes. Miami right now, minus 11. Minus 11 is what I got for the 7:30 Eastern on Saturday. Guys, based on how they were able to rack up points against Louisville, I know that Florida State has a better defensive line. I know they have some studs in that secondary. but I just don't feel like that I can go off this Hurricane train right now. I mean, they look so good. How can you bet against them the very next week in a rivalry game of all things? And the fact that Florida State still looks like they're in shambles and has no idea and can't even beat Georgia Tech in a shocking loss of the season. I don't know. I'm going Miami this one. I must be crazy, but I don't think it's going to be a trip up game for the Hurricanes in this one. I think they cover.
Okay, well, you're certainly not crazy. I mean, when I saw the line this morning, it was at -10, and I texted my friend Marty. I don't exactly remember what I said, but basically the gist of it was, why should I not just bet my entire house on this spread? Okay, because that spread should be at like 20. I mean, Miami's looked really good so far. Got a real big win against Louisville, and Florida State's garbage. They got beat at home by Georgia Tech. Okay, I mean, I just don't understand this. The line seems really fishy to me. Okay, it's one of those lines where I'm so confident it's going to be Miami that I really want to take Florida State just because it's like Vegas knows something. Okay, and trust me, if anybody knows, Vegas knows. I don't know if half the team is going to be out, Derek King is not going to play, or what it's going to be, but my entire logic says I've got to take Miami here. It's a no-brainer, so I'm going Miami as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say it should be Miami ugly early. I feel like it's going to be all Canes all day. I'm on the Cane train. Give me Miami covering that one.
And you know what that means? That it is another lock. All three of us. Hopefully you can hear that. I don't know if you can or not. Chat saying it was really loud. I turned it down a lot. So, maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But again, thank you so much for watching in and keeping up with my antics here. Again, that's one that to me, when you look at it, it seems like the steal of the week. I don't have a sound for that. Maybe we should get a sound for the steal of the week, but it seems like a steal of the week to me. And maybe we're all wrong, and I'll definitely have a button for when we're all wrong, but that'll never happen. But all right, so last one on the ACC list here is the team that I wrote in and I said was one of those legit teams out there. Well, not a legit team. Let me take that back. But a team that was going to improve on last year. And, Dave Doran is normally a 9-win, kind of a coach out there when it's a normal season. This is a little bit different, so hard to say. But NC State travels to number 20, Virginia Tech, who has yet to play a game. They covered the spread last Saturday, which is a pick that I did against the other two guys here. But public consensus has 82% going with Virginia Tech at the -7 to cover. I got to say, to be honest with you, if that Miami one is a steal, convince me that this one is not a steal. I mean, I think Virginia Tech's one of the best teams in the ACC. I know Walt thinks I'm crazy when I say that, but I think that, they're the unknown. That's the one thing. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. But Raheem Blackshear got his reversal of his ineligibility, so he's going to be out there. He's a good dynamic running back / wide receiver flex type guy. So give me Hendon Hooker and Virginia Tech Hokies if they can get through COVID tests and actually play a game. I'm going to say VT and the Hokies all the way to cover. And this one, to me, I mean, the predicted computer score is 38-15. I mean, that's more than 7 points there. So it might be a steal of the week, guys. What do you think?
Well, let me say, I was trying to look up something right now. So, okay. The reason I can, convince you that it's not a steal is, I mean, NC State scored 45 points. I mean, they scored 45 points against Wake Forest. Now, we expect Virginia Tech's defense to be better than that, right? I would hope so.
I think so.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But in the fact that, again, I'm going back to this. I've talked about it for a couple weeks now. They have not played a game yet. Okay, they haven't played a game. I keep mentioning that. I don't know. I don't think it worked out very well last week, but I'm still going with
when
it.
we talk about things not working out, I talked about Pitt didn't score 27, didn't beat anybody by 27 points. Right. So I have no place to talk. That's for sure.
That's exactly right. So I think we're in interesting territory here because it's not like. It's not like Miami playing UAB the first week. Okay, UAB's not a real top tier team, so it's kind of hard to say. So NC State starts with Wake Forest, and they look like they're gangbusters. Okay, with scoring 45 points. maybe it's the opponent that you're playing week one. Maybe they're more fired up. Maybe they're willing to throw all their offensive weapons out there and everything they've got in the playbook. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'm going to say NC State comes back down off the mountaintop there, and I'm going to go with Virginia Tech here.
You said all that to go with Virginia Tech? I mean, I was just for sure you're going to pick NC State.
Had you on the hook, didn't I?
I can't believe I'm going to say this because I don't like NC State. I don't like. I'm not an NC State stan. I don't think they're going to be improved this year. I disagree vehemently with Morgan. I don't think that this is going to be a very good year for the Wolfpack. With that being said, I don't know if Virginia Tech's going to have a ton of players or a full roster. Justin Fuente said today, hey, maybe we'll have a full roster if we get to play. So if the game is played, it's just kind of curious. I don't know if this is gamesmanship that he's trying to play with NC State, but I tend to take him at his word that he's struggling with roster management right now, which makes me think I think Virginia Tech finds a way to win this game, but it's going to be closer than 7 points. I think they struggle just because they don't have the bodies in the places they need. And that's why it's a closer game than most people think. And that's why I say Virginia Tech wins, but does not cover.
Sure.
You just had to take away the soundboard from me on this, really? I mean, that could have been almost 3 soundboards in a row. You just took away my trifecta. Okay, I'll let it pass. But let us know what you think. Are we crazy? I mean, that's the ACC picks. We got to do our top 5 games of the week that are non-ACC games of the week, and then we'll wrap it up to finish up the night. And Al, you were right. We can never. I mean, even when we only do 5 picks, we make it to 10 o'clock. Believe me, I am going to make it. So Ben Milstead, if you're watching still, we can make it for the full 2 segments, the full 2 hours. We can definitely do it. And if anybody, I can do it by myself. But we're going to make it at 10 o'clock. But what do you think in the chat? Do you think that we're crazy? Do you think that any of these picks are completely off? Again, I have to back up my Virginia Tech pick, so I'm going with that. Let's get into the top 5 games of the week. And Houston, since you made these picks, or since you told these games that we're going to pick, we'll start with you, because we kind of started with Alan, I believe, the last couple of ones. We'll start with you. We'll let Alan cheat off your paper on this one. And we're going to go, should we start with Tennessee at South Carolina? Should we start with that, or hang on to it?
I would just say let's save our commentary for our feathered brethren in the Midlands till the end.
All right, let's save it to the end, but let's start out with a team that is near and dear to my heart. Number 22, Army, at number 14, Cincinnati. And the Black Knights there, I got to go with Army, guys. I got to go with Army. Got a great quarterback, doing really well, running all over the field. Putting up some points there. So can they keep it within 14? It's plus 14. So So can they keep it within 14? I'm gonna say yeah. I know Cincinnati's a powerful offense, so I might be just completely clueless. But if anything, I'm gonna live and die by the Army, because hey, they got 6 years of my life.
Yeah, I'm going to actually agree with you on this one. So you're saying Army is plus 14 right now on this one. So I'm going to say Army wins this one outright. They are a hungry bunch of dudes right now. I honestly feel like they're going to go in and win that game outright. I love what they're doing. They wanted to play a team basically 2 days after a team canceled. So I think Army's going to win this game just because they're just ready to get after it right now.
With respect to the time, I won't say much, but Houston, you just like Morgan earlier, you stole my thunder a little bit, because I was going to say basically the same thing about Army. I would not be surprised to see them go in and win this game. I'm going to take Army as well to cover the points.
And you know what that means. That is another 3-banger lock of the week. Yes. All right, so we're sold on Army. We want to take that one for sure. Computer says it's going to be 32-27 Cincinnati. I mean, that's close enough to say they could win that game. And if you're going to pick against the spread, a 3-point loss is going to get you within that plus 14. So take that. About 57% picking Army right now. Next up is Mississippi State at LSU. This is a 3:30 game. Both of these games going to be at 3:30, so you have to toggle between the two. LSU, they lost a lot. Mississippi State's got a new coach. Neither team has played. There's that mystery of the unknown out there. The public consensus is for sure thinking that this is going to be over 57.5 points. They're just kind of 50-50, 50-40, 60-40 on what the spread is going to be. Louisville right now, or LSU right now, minus 16.5. And to me, they don't have a running back I feel like they can rely on. They've got a ton of people that are opting out on defense. They also lost what I think Bill was saying over in chat. They lost like 75 people to the draft last season. So, in a conference-to-conference matchup with the magician, Mike Leach out there, and KJ Costello, I believe, is going to be playing this game. Yep. So give me that conference close game. Now, I know it's at LSU, so that's probably the biggest thing that I should be red flagging myself right now. But it's not the same this year. Home field advantage is definitely not the same. So give me the Bulldogs plus 16.5.
Clanger, 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 clanger. Mississippi State is going to cover this game. Look, this, I think, is the worst possible opponent for LSU to open the campaign this year with. You've got a new quarterback, new system at Mississippi State, running a completely different offense than what they had last year against a defense that is completely depleted. Mississippi State to cover. I'm not quite ready to say they win this outright, but, man, LSU is going to be scared at the end of this game. Mike Leach is coming to town.
Look, LSU has lost a ton, okay? We all know that. They lost coaches, they lost offensive players, they lost defensive players, okay? It's been interesting, but look, let's not fool ourselves here. They have talent there. They're LSU. They recruit incredibly well. And, I mean, they're just a year removed from a national championship, unfortunately, as we know very well. But more cowbell, ladies and gentlemen. I like KJ Costello. I think he can play a little bit. I think this is going to be a real interesting game. And I just don't know how you go against Mississippi State here when they just lost so much in its first game trying to feel their way out, even though I do like Brennan as a quarterback. And they've still got some playmakers. Like I said, they've got talent there, no doubt, but it's game one. That talent's going to have to grow up, and I don't think they're going to be quite ready game one. Take Mississippi State from me.
Now, I haven't tried out any of these cowbell buttons, but there is a cowbell button, so we're going to try that. I got a fever. The only prescription is more cowbell. I got a fever.
Wow.
I got a fever. The only prescription is more cowbell, and we picked more cowbell there. So another lock. All three of us picked Mississippi State there to win plus the points there. Next up is, this one's kind of tough for me. We got three more to go. Three more to go on the list. K-State at number 3, Oklahoma. Now, K-State, just laid an egg against Arkansas State. And I say laid an egg. They lost late in the fourth quarter. They actually lost with 38 seconds to go. So I take that back. That was kind of disrespectful to the Wildcats there. They lost with 38 seconds to go. They went away from Skylar Thompson running the ball. That was one of the problems. Okay, so they need to go back to their basics of last year. They almost beat Oklahoma last year, but they're coming off a bad loss, in my opinion, especially for the Big 12 as a whole. Everybody started making fun of them on social media for it. But Oklahoma right now, the Sooners showing, and I'm going to double check it. I'm going to double check it as I'm talking here. But I've got minus 28.5 for Oklahoma against K-State. So, you know what? I'm going to take it. I feel like that Oklahoma is one of those teams that could definitely throw up 30 points or more on a team that lost to Arkansas State. But, again, it was a close game. K-State was winning till the last 38 seconds. So, I'm going to give me a little bit going back. K-State's got to go back to their basics and give me to keep it within 28. They're not going to win the game, but keep it within 28. So give me K-State.
It's a tough one to say because part of me thinks that Oklahoma is just going to come out. They remember what happened last year in Manhattan, and they will not let up the gas. But I could see this being a game where they get up by a lot. early. Kansas State comes in at the very end and covers late. I want to say Kansas State with the points. Oklahoma is still going to beat them handily, but I think Kansas State gets some points late to keep it under that number.
I just realized that the public consensus is 98% to Oklahoma. Am I allowed to take that back?
Too late. It's already out there. You spoke it into existence.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to. I mean, you guys are on the right track. I mean that Kansas State has played Oklahoma close in the past for sure. Yeah, they had a tough loss that first week, but in Oklahoma, I think the reason I am going with the public here is because exactly what Houston said. They remember that. They remember. I think it was a loss. It was the last couple years to when they were huge underdogs, and Kansas State won. So yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma here. And as much as I hate to, I think they've looked incredibly impressive offensively. And I just think they're gonna roll them. But we'll see soon enough. So I hate you don't get to press your button here, but I'm going to take Oklahoma.
No button for me. That's okay. This is the last two of the night. Tennessee, South Carolina is going to be our last one, but this one is one that's really interesting to me. Number 23, Kentucky at Auburn. They're number 8, Auburn. -7.5 for Auburn. Right now, 64% leaning towards Auburn, but the computer's predicting 28-27 for Auburn to win. I mean, and that gives me the points. Not to go with the computer, but they're getting their quarterback Terry from last year who tore up his knee. He's going to be back. He's going to be starting. Auburn, I feel like when you got these unknown situations, I think Kentucky is one of those teams before everything happened that was just as good as Auburn. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with, like Chad Morris and the changes that they're going to be making and things like that. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but go ahead and give me Kentucky plus the 7.5.
Yeah, still my thunder. Again, there, Morgan. I think Auburn will win this game, but it's going to be closer than 7. I think Kentucky has got a lot of talent coming back. They've even got one of Auburn's former quarterbacks as a backup behind Terry Wilson. I think Kentucky is one of those teams that kind of punches up from their weight class. Auburn kind of being that team that kind of messes around and gets into these tight battles and sometimes even loses like they did to Tennessee a couple years ago. I think Kentucky will keep this game close. Auburn will figure out some way to, do their little Auburn magic at the end and win, but I think it's a lot closer, and they're kind of running for their lives at the end.
Yeah, Kentucky always seems to have a good line or good lines of scrimmage, and they have a couple offensive linemen we've talked about earlier this year when we were previewing the SEC, and they always seem to find some dudes, so to speak, on defense. And I just think it's going to be closer. It's going to be maybe a sloppier game, and I'm taking Kentucky as well.
Yes, another lock there. All three of us taking Kentucky. We're on the right page. You guys are really starting to learn some things from me. This means a lot. This means a lot after all these years. Last one up, and we're not going to give these guys a lot of time because we're out of time. Number 16, Tennessee at South Carolina. Tennessee -3.5. Will we see Harrison Bailey, 5-star QB freshman? Maybe, maybe not. Gamecocks lost last year, 41-21 in Neyland Stadium. Colin Hill, what they call the poor man's Trevor Lawrence, is going to be playing, going to be under center. What, if you've seen the meme, it's basically what you get when you buy Trevor Lawrence from Wish. So I can't go against South Carolina, of course, at home, but I'm going to do that. Give me Tennessee to cover 3.5 and beat South Carolina outright by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, I would say this is one of those that you're stealing. If you don't take, or if you're picking Tennessee, you're stealing because Tennessee's got a lot of talent on both lines. They've got a talented duo of running backs. I don't know if we'll see Harrison Bailey. I think Jarrett Guarantano was named the starter today. I feel like they're going to ride with him. And look, I'm just not digging Mike Bobo. I'm not digging this Colin Hill stuff. Maybe I could be very wrong at the end of this year, but this just has disaster written all over it.
what you do to improve is you ship your old quarterback out to Utah, and then you order another quarterback from Colorado. That's how you win games. Oh, and by the way, you also win games by slowing the game down.
Exactly.
So first of all, I don't like picking South Carolina games, okay? Because I don't ever want to pick South Carolina against anything, okay? I don't want to pick them against the spread. I don't even want to talk about them unless we're making fun of them, okay? So if we want to talk about them, okay, I don't even want the chance to, because I got to give out picks. I know people are taking these picks and betting with them, okay? Obviously people are putting their whole houses on our picks. All right.
Don't put that on us, Al. Don't put that on us.
They shouldn't be doing that, okay? Because this is just for fun. I need everybody to know this is just for fun. All right. But I cheated a little bit this week. I hate to tell you guys this, but I talked to our resident Vol fan. All right. Had a little conversation with Philip earlier today. And I asked him about Trey Smith. I'd heard some inklings about him, possibly opting out. He's got some lung issues or something like that. That apparently is not the case. Cade Mays got his transfer waiver accepted, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Also a good lineman for him, but they're good on the lines of scrimmage, plain and simple. I think their offensive line is going to be able to take over this game. I do like Colin Hill for South Carolina. If he can stay on the field, he's had injury problems his whole career, but I really do like what he brings to the table, but he's got no supporting cast. The only guy I can see as a playmaker that has even flashed anything is Shi Smith. And he's been incredibly up and down, as Philip was mentioning as well. And he also said, by the way, Philip said, no, Harrison Bailey is 3rd or 4th on the depth chart right now. He missed 3 or 4 weeks COVID related. Okay, so a little more Vol insider scoop there. I'm going to take the Tennessee Volunteers to cover that as well.
And you know what that means. And I probably had it too loud last time. I apologize. Let me turn it down. And then that means that we had another lock. All 3 of us picked Tennessee in a row.
Very scary.
And we can't, you can't go against, you got to go against South Carolina because, we hate them and we don't want to see them win any games and we want to see them lose, especially against the spread. Even if they were given plus 70 points, we would probably take the other to cover.